you're in Italy, and you've been out there all year, and well, not all year, but you've been out there a good portion of the year so far, and you right there in the middle of the brunt of it. What's going on with coronavirus, COVID-19, and the whole world's kind of going crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
and you
it's
kind of you
definitely
staying.
definitely in Europe. Italy is the epicenter
Yep.
of it spreading around Europe. Each country, each continent has their different starting point, but here in Europe, it started off in Italy. At least that's from what we know. That's who was testing first, I guess. But since then, we've been on lockdown. Today marks the third week. Tomorrow will start the fourth week, and a lot of Americans went home. A lot of Americans stayed, and I decided to stay because, for one, the team I'm on here in Verona, very professional team. They pay on time, and as long as they paying, I'm staying. That's my saying. So I know a lot of guys who are on teams where they're probably not
They
getting
not
paid.
paying.
So yeah, and I get why they would dip because there's no point. And as I was telling you earlier before we started recording, everything back in the States is just beginning with more testing and understanding the numbers. And so for me, I have my daughter in Seattle, but she's okay. She's well. I have my dad. He's 65, 64. He's a little older, but he smokes cigarettes, and for 40, 45 years, his lungs are depleted. So if I go back, I will go back staying with him. And I don't know if I have it, if I don't. Once I go back there en route, I might catch it. And if he catches, it's a wrap for him. So for me, I thought it was just best to stay here, wait it out. And while I'm waiting, I got the idea to make a video documenting the first week. And I'm going to keep documenting. But the first video I put out generated a lot of good buzz. A lot of people saw it, gave me great feedback. Went on a couple radio shows so far. And I'm just going to ride this momentum. It gave me great confidence because, like I said, I love editing, but I got a lot of footage from Italy, Japan, where I haven't put out just because I'm lazy or, like I said, I'm an introvert. I don't like putting my life out too much. But after this video I put out documenting the first week, it gave me more reassurance that I should keep doing it, be funny, insert music, some very good audio clips of experts, doctors, people talking about the situation because it's going on all around the world. So it connects all of us. So that was a great video that I made to give people a glimpse of what's going on here and what can happen wherever you're at in the world.
Yeah, so I watched your video. It was all right, bro. Yeah, it was all right.
What was your
Keep you humble,
favorite
motherfucker.
part?
Honestly, I watched your previous videos, but did you edit this one yourself?
Yeah, I sure.
All right, so I was pleasantly surprised, man. Your editing, like I said, has definitely improved. You did, all the cuts, all the little sound choices were prime choices. All the little inserts here and there. Like it really looks like a very professional edited thing. Like I was pleasantly surprised by it, and it's dope to see. It's dope to see you that progress. Like I can see that progress from when you first started.
That's the main thing that people are scared to do because as athletes, our coaches, they get on us when we do something bad and when we do something good. So regardless, they're going to say something to you. So you might as well just play your game, do what you got to do. So when I made this video, I was like, man, should it be funny? Should it be serious? Do I want to, because I had some more jokes where I was like, am I going to make people mad? Like I could have, but after so many days, I was able to balance it out and make the video, like I said, a little bit of everything so people can understand it's funny, it's serious, but it's real. This is what's really going on. And the music choice, everything was, I was happy with the result. When I saw it, everybody think they make good stuff, but then once I saw it, I was like, man, this should be good.
This is it.
This is it. I was like, this should be good. They don't like this one then, man. I don't know what else I can do.
I was like, hold up. I think it was a great, mix, like you said, of more serious attention to what is going on in the country, because a lot of people don't actually know what that looks like in Italy, like what, how daily life is, how it's being handled. That you just hear stories, you just hear news, but you don't really get a firsthand perspective from it. I think that's such a dope thing to do, to instinctively know as a storyteller, like I need to capture this. This is a moment, like I gotta show this to what's going on. And then the way you mixed, the levity with the seriousness to kind of break things up in the show, that's not all doom and gloom, because if you look at the news these days, it's all doom and gloom basically. But, there's different sides to it, and the way you captured it all and put it into, one package I was impressed. My first thought of the scene, I was like, man, he ain't edited this shit. I wanted to hate out. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to text you I know you ain't edited this shit, bro. Like,
everybody asked me, they was like, did you edit this? And I was like, yep. Before I put yep, and I looked at it before I hit reply, I'm like, yeah, they about to do that. Yeah. I wanted to put at the end by me, but I didn't want to rub it in. So I was like,
you want to put edited, but you want to put edited by Bobby Jones, written by Bobby Jones, directed by Bobby Jones.
Maybe the second video, maybe the second one. But no, I did it. Once I talk to people, I'll let them know. But yeah, it was me. It was yeah.
I mean, honestly, it was probably one of the best looks inside Italy I've seen so far on the internet, for sure. Like, and to see it from that perspective is something that I think people would definitely be interested in. Definitely more people should see.
I watched a lot of videos to get audio to just form my own opinion, because like I said, when this first started, I didn't think it was going to get to this point, and I'm American, so I'm like, okay, if I thought this, and I'm American in Italy, imagine American in America that's not even here. So I said, this is a great opportunity for me, because I was naive too. I didn't realize it. Like I said, this is not a disease where if you catch it, you will die. But this is a disease where it's very contagious, to where it spreads very fast. And I did research about SARS and the swine flu and Ebola. Like, all those are more serious than this disease, but it wasn't
extremely contagious.
Yeah, it wasn't as contagious. So this one was more contagious, where it's not. So that's why I had to learn and listen to experts and doctors and not journalists. And then but I wanted to use some journalist footage to show a lot of people get their information from journalists, from news, and their job is just to scare folks, not to help you
sensationalize,
everything. So, and that's why I wanted to use news stuff from experts, stuff from doctors, stuff from very just smart people from different podcasts, and just put it all together, because that's what's about, getting information from everywhere so you can come to one conclusion. A lot of people just get their information from the
source
that fits their opinion.
Right.
And they use that to, like, this is what's going on. Look, see, we can find something to support our opinion anywhere nowadays. Like,
right. If you look at when it first broke out, you looked at Fox News, then you looked at, say, CNN, the coverage could be like night and day between, what it is. Fox News might say it's a hoax and this is just a common cold. And, CNN might say, this is the Black Plague coming along, Spanish flu. So I did like that. I did catch that. And I did like how you put in elements from all perspectives and all kind of, voices. And so people can actually formulate their own opinion, because that's what you need to have, like, a good opinion. That's, for me, like, in this internet age, that's the greatest thing is that everybody has their own voice and thought. And the worst thing is that everybody has their own voice and thought, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's a double-edged sword. Like, yeah, it's great that information is all out there, but it's bad because people aren't necessarily taking in all the information and forming a real opinion about stuff. And I've heard some terrible takes on the situation in Italy, like, oh, the healthcare system's bad, or that this will happen. Like, no, the healthcare system in Italy is actually one of the best in the world. The problem with coronavirus that people understand is that, like you said, it's not that you catch it and you die. It's that if so many people get it at the same time, it doesn't matter how good your healthcare system is, it's going to overwhelm what you have and what your resources are. And that's why Italy is so hard hit, is that it just overwhelmed so fast and so many people that the system could not handle the influx of, people that needed help and assistance. Yeah. And, it's crazy, like, because I was just in Milan, I was at your game actually, like maybe 2 weeks before this really like started to pop up there, and like just how quickly it went from nothing. Like the week I got there, it was like, oh, it's nothing. They might check your temperature when you come, but there's no restrictions. And then like literally like a week and a half later, they like shut down like Milan, and like I was like, damn, like, that was fast. Like
it happened. And the sad part about all this, like, I learned that the disease was discovered, the strain was discovered in December. And once that was public information, because we all heard about it in December, I remember hearing about it. Every country should have started testing for it in January. there was no excuse. I don't think no country took it serious yet. We was hearing it because it was a joke. It was this. We didn't realize it because, like I said, with technology. And so all the countries lost at least a month and a half of testing people to understand it better. But then it was too late, and then it took its own. It's a disease.
Yeah,
You can't.
once it got into the wild, it was too loose. Yeah, it was too
In
much.
America is the greatest country in the world for sure, but that doesn't mean it's perfect. And the fact that they had to wait to see what other countries did to make a decision on their own country shows that our healthcare system is flawed. While in Italy, where you don't have to pay for health insurance because it's just part of daily living, you're able to collect as much information as possible because people aren't hesitating to want to go to the doctor because they're worried about having to pay money.
Pay $1,500 for a test, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
So in a moment of crisis, people aren't thinking about that. They're just doing it. They're reacting so the government can get as much information so they can make a decision. And that's what Italy did. But America saw what another country did, and then they reacted off them. One of the strongest countries in the world reacted off to a country that's the size of a state compared to America. That says a lot.
My biggest issue with the way we handle it over here was that we had, like you said, we had months lead time to prepare for it. And like, we didn't do anything. Like, we didn't do what we were supposed to be doing. Like, we saw it coming from China, like you said, back in December, almost. Like, we have time to really prepare for this. And there's no problem with being over prepared for something. You'd rather be over prepared than be caught with the pants down like we were. So that's probably the most frustrating part, is that if anything, we had the best chance to be prepared for it because we saw it coming. Everybody saw it coming. Like, and yeah, maybe it didn't actually travel. Maybe it didn't actually, spread to the countries. Okay, but what hurt? Like, you spent some money, you became prepared, and you had people ready for the worst situation, not just, oh, now this is the worst situation, now let's try to ramp up. Nah, we should have been ramped up.
What I tell people, because I think it's a natural thing as humans, we don't worry about it until it's at your doorstep. Like, I thought about this concept. So let's say we lived on the same block, and the house that is across the street from you to the left is on fire. Now, you're across the street. Your house is across the street. So you're seeing that house on fire, and you're like, all right, that house is on fire, but my house ain't going to catch on fire. And then let's say the house next to it catches on fire because they have trees in the backyard. So it goes to the trees and goes to the next house. Now that house is on fire. And now that house is right across from you. You're looking like, well, it's still across the street. Now, let's say the telephone pole or another tree in the front yard catches on fire. And that tree falls across the street and lands on your house. Now your house is on fire. Now you want to react. Where you had a chance to react when you saw those houses across the street, but you're thinking, because you see it's not literally by you. No, that's not how you don't know what's going to happen. Humans are so naive, and we think that until it happens or we feel invincible, and it backfired on us this way. But hopefully we learn from it. That's the silver lining of it all. Like, this isn't
There's a lot of bad things to this. Obviously, people dying, businesses losing money, businesses going under, people getting fired, people losing their job. Like, there's a lot of negative impacts to this. But there's also a silver lining, is that, to me, that I think hopefully this changes people's mindset and people realize just how fragile our systems are, and how our world that we live in really is, and how we take things so for granted that this will always be the way it is, when look what happened. It didn't take much for shit to collapse. It really did not take much at all, and how unprepared we were and how unsustainable the way we were living and the way, certain systems are going really is. And how it's always on a knife edge. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to always live on that edge, praying and hoping something like this never happens again, when we know historically it will happen again. And it's just not, it's a matter of when, not if. And like I said, if anything, hopefully this changes people's mindsets going forward about, how systems and how our system is set up and how things need to change, because the way we are right now is just not sustainable and not good for us.
And the other part about it, America is one of the richest countries in the world. So the way we deal with it, people can still go home and sit in their house and watch TV, do whatever. There's poorer countries who are slums where they don't have separation.
Ain't no stay at home. Yeah.
Where they're all screwed. So like I said, there's still first world problems, and then there's everybody else. Like America still has it bad, but it's still not as bad as other countries.
Like,
So
oh my God, I gotta stay at home with all my food and TV and air conditioning. And I'm like, it's like, all right, bro. Like, yeah, it sucks that you can't go out and do what you want to do, but at the same time, it's like you could have it so much worse. And that's something I always kind of try to keep in mind when I'm going through shit like this.
yeah, and so like I said, I hope people can learn from this, and we can change a lot of government laws, healthcare laws, because lives is more important than the market. Like
Right.
our values, our priorities, and of course, they can say, "Oh, you got more money than me," so that's why you're saying that, and that could partially be true. But overall, lives are more important than making money. Because if you don't take care of your wealth and other people next to you, we're all going to fall as a country, as a society. Because China is about to become the most powerful country in the world now, because they know it's not a great country, but they're communism. They got a dictator. People do what he says. And now with the American market falling, China's already recovering. And who knows what's going to happen in the next couple of years. Like, it's self-discipline. We gotta be for each other. If not, then we're all going to fall together.
Yeah, and people are gonna blame the virus for any fallout that possibly would come from that. But to me, the virus is just a small part of it and more of a symptom than the main problem. The main problem was the way it was set up and the way we were operating and running. That if the way we're running and operating, if the way you're operating can go and collapse as easily as it did, and bring you to the point that you're worried about getting to by one instance, then that was not a good system. That was not a good setup. Like, period. Like if my car can only run, 99% of the time, and like if these conditions are met all the time, but then that one condition that maybe 1 out of 1,000,000 happens, then all of a sudden it's done. Like, that's not a good. Then like all safety goes out the window. Then your airbags stop, your seatbelts don't work. You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that. Like, that's not. I'm not gonna get in the car. I'm not gonna get into that system. I'm not gonna take that chance. And like that's kind of what we've been operating on. And if anything, it just shows how vulnerable, like I said, it was, and just how things need to change. And hopefully things do change. If anything, like anytime there's a big situation like this, it brings a lot of opportunity for change and tough change that people didn't want to make, but that you had no choice but to make now. So,
change happens usually after the fact, not because somebody has a great idea and everybody rose, but it usually happens when something tragic happens, and now it's like, okay, we need to find a way not to let this happen again. No matter what it is, war, slavery, diseases, education, technology. Usually you have to take a step back before you take the next 2 steps forward. So hopefully, like I said, we learn from it. I know I learned from it being in Italy, and just overall, because I've been a pretty open-minded guy. Like, I wouldn't be able to live in another country this long if I wasn't, but I still have a long ways to go. But I know there's people who's way further back than me. And so we all got to do it together. If not, we're all going to fall together.